I'm wearing my mum's top and I'm not sure if it's back to front or not. It looks a little bit strange. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And for this video, I thought I would show you some of my top wish list plants. These are plants that I have been ogling over for quite a long time. I've got a huge list on my phone that's got probably about 80, 90 plants on it that I've noted down over the years, but these ones are my top 20. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. I've just put on a huge wash load, hence why I'm wearing my mum's top, but I'm sorry if you can hear the washing machine. But so, as I say, no particular order, but my first wish list plant is the Piper SP Thailand Silver. This is one that I only stumbled across fairly recently on the Grow Tropicals website. I will link everybody's website with the pictures I'm using in the description box below. But oh my goodness, literally, I was just window shopping, scrolling through, and I saw this one and I was like, wow, it's just so incredibly beautiful. And I know some of you in the comments before have said that I say so beautiful so much. If you are one of those people, just a little pre-warning, I'm probably going to be saying that a lot in this video. I just love everything about this plant. I love the colour of it. I love that beautiful, beautiful veination and the fact that it's that gorgeous kind of almost iridescent, like metallic bluey green. It's almost kind of got Peperomia vibes, like slightly similar to my Peperomia Frost, but I feel like it's just more kind of scaly. And is scaly the right word? I think it's amazing. And I really have a few times had to stop myself from ordering that plant, and I think I might cave soon. I'm just about to go on holiday at the time of filming this, so not the time to be ordering new plants, but at some point I might have to do it. But then the next one is the Philodendron McDowell, and I think this plant is absolutely amazing. It's a cross between the Philodendron gloriosum and the pastisanum, I think. I don't know how you say that, pastisanum. But I just think it's stunning. It's got such beautiful, almost like pillowy leaves, like they just, I don't know, they just get me. I think they're amazing, and I love my gloriosum so much. And from what I can tell about this plant, because I've never actually, I don't think, seen one in real life, it's got very similar vibes to the gloriosum, but it isn't a velvet leafed plant. Correct me if I'm wrong, I, as I say, haven't actually seen one, but every single time, even before I knew what this plant was, every single time I've seen a picture of it, it always kind of like stops me in my tracks, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's just amazing. So yeah, that again is on the Grow Tropicals website. So, oh dear, do I do a wish list plant order? I don't know if that's a very good idea. I've got enough to look after at the moment, but it's definitely, yeah, it's towards the top of my list at the moment. And the next one, okay, so this one is one that I don't think is ever going to actually be, or not in the near future, achievable to add to my collection, but it is a Philodendron Billy Tee, but it's variegated, and it's currently on the AROID market website. And if I remember correctly off the top of my head, I think it's on there for about $4,000. It is extortionate, but I just think it's amazing. I love the form of the Billy Tee, and I'd never actually seen a variegated one before this. And I just feel like it's a plant that I really need in my life. Like, I've seen some of the plants that I've currently got in my collection, and when I've first seen them, I've been like, wow, you're gonna be a special one. And they're the ones that I kind of constantly check on, and they just really excite me. Like any little thing that they do, any growth updates, I'm always like, ah, and I feel like I would feel the same about this plant. I feel like it's calling me, and I shouldn't do it. I mean, I actually physically do not have even near the amount of money to buy that plant, so it's not an option. But maybe at some point in my life, when I am very rich and have a very big house and lots of money, then maybe I will consider adding it to my collection. And then the next one, this is one of my friend Emma Good Growing's pictures, and this is actually a plant that we all grouped together and got for her birthday. It's a Scintaxis tricolour, and it's amazing. It's got those, I almost want to call them like army camouflage colours, but it's just amazing. I know I'm going to say that about every single one of the plants on the list, but I love the form of Scintaxis. I mean, the Scintaxis in my collection are I would say probably some of my favorite plants. I just love the way that they grow. Their new growth always really excites me. Like my Scintaxis Moonlight has just started giving me a really big leaf, like the biggest out of all of them so far. And I am so unbelievably excited about that. And I think this plant is just incredible. Like all the little flecks and speckles of variegation, it's almost very similar to the Aglaonema pictum tricolor, which mine is not doing well at the moment. But I just think that that group of colors together is just, it's really amazing. It almost looks like a beautiful kind of abstract painting or something like that. It definitely doesn't look like your everyday plant. And it's one that I would be so happy to have in my collection. So yeah, I don't actually have a source for this plant, whereas a lot of my other ones I do. I've got them sitting in baskets at checkouts, and obviously I'm just not buying them. But this one, I think if I was going to get it, I'd have a look on Etsy, Facebook groups. I mean, potentially you might find one at a rare plant cutting swap. I don't know. I hear there is going to be another swap soon. So if there is, fingers crossed someone brings this plant. And then the next one, oh my goodness. Okay, so this has been on my wish list for, I want to say about 2 years. This is the Antherium Regal. Regal, I always say Regal, but my pronunciation on a lot of these might be wrong because I don't know, my pronunciation is often wrong. But I love velvet leaf anthuriums so much, and I think the veination in the Regal is just stunning. I think it's such a dramatic plant. It's one that I think would bring me so much joy. I am totally obsessed with my velvet leaf. Did I say Anthurium a minute ago, or did I say Philodendron? If I said Philodendron, I meant Anthurium. But yeah, I've got 3 Clarinerviums in my collection because I love them so much. I honestly don't mind that they're duplicates. I know some people can be a bit like, oh, well, you've got one plant. You don't need more than one. And I just think, and I've said this before, if there's a plant that you absolutely love, why not fill your house with it? So yeah, I have seen, and I don't know for copyright reasons if I'd be allowed to include it, but I've seen a picture of this plant, and I think it's just a 1 or 2 leaf plant. If you Google it, then you can probably find it, but the leaf is like, it's almost like half the height of me. It's absolutely insane. And I am so all for growing plants from babies. Most of my, or a lot of my plants that I've got in my collection, I've grown from propagations, cuttings, seedlings, all that sort of stuff. But the size of this leaf, I'm just like, oh my God. If I again had all the money, then I think it is one plant that I would buy big and treat myself. Again, I'm sure that's not going to happen anytime soon, but yeah, I just think it's absolutely amazing. And the thing I love as well with velvet leaf anthuriums is because they do tend to be quite slow growers. When they give you a new leaf, it's so rewarding, and I think this is a plant that would bring me a lot of joy. So that is why it is so high up on my wish list. So this next plant, it was a toss up between this one that I'm about to show you and the Philodendron El Choco Red to show you in this video, because both of them are on my wish list, and they have, I mean, you'll see in a minute, but they have quite a lot of similarities. So I decided to include this one, but this is the Philodendron Linamie, I think that's right. And oh my God, it's literally one of the most beautiful plants I think I've ever seen. I'm not, as you know, if you'll watch my videos, I'm not a huge one for colourful house plants. I absolutely love them. I think they're amazing, and I love them in other people's houses, but I'm such a green gal. I just love usually my plants to be green. But the thing I love about this one, sorry, the washing machine's getting really loud, if you can hear that. The thing I love about this one is it's got those beautiful red stems and backs of the leaves, but then the front of the leaves is really subtle and almost, from what I can tell, almost kind of like a minty green. And I just, yeah, it's just incredible. I also really love the fact that the lobing is so kind of spaced out. I really like that on plants. Like, for example, the soderoid, like a true soderoid, that's another one on my list that I haven't included. But the thing that I really love about that is the spread of the lobing. And I don't know why, I think I've just got a lot of plants that maybe have quite conventional lobes. And so this one, yeah, it ticks all the boxes for me. And it's one that you just don't see about very much at all. And I think if I was to bump into this plant, I would find it very hard to say goodbye. And then this one's a really common plant, but it's one that I don't have in my collection and I absolutely adore. It's a watermelon peperomia, and I did actually swap one of my plants. What did I swap? I think I swapped one of my Syngonium albos at the plant swap a little while ago for my friend Lottie's cutting of this plant, and unfortunately the propagation didn't make it. It did rot, and so I currently don't have one in my collection, but I think it's just absolutely amazing. I love, again, the kind of like stripy watermelon-y veination it's got on it, and again, bluey silver leaves. I'm obsessed. And I just love peperomia, and that's something I definitely wouldn't have said a few years ago because I used to be so unbelievably bad with peperomia, but touch all the wood, in the last few years I feel like I've kind of like honed my peperomia plant parenting and I've got a lot better with them. So yeah, I would really love to add this plant to my collection. The one that I swapped for at the plant swap as well, my friend Lottie's, oh my goodness, the leaves on it were like that. They were like dinner plate leaves. They were just absolutely insane. And I didn't even know that they could grow that big. So yeah, I think I'd like to get, oh, it's a fly. I'd like to get another cutting of it and try again, and hopefully at some point get it giving me some beautiful big growth. And also I was going to say the picture that I used for this plant is from House of KOJO, and I do have a discount code for House of KOJO, so I will link that down below. And then this next one's a Hoya, and it's a Hoya that I've wanted. It's a Hoya that I've wanted before I even liked Hoyas. It's a Hoya callus defiler, and I think when I first saw this plant, because I didn't used to be a Hoya fan at all when they were kind of first really popular, I was a bit like, why does everyone love them so much? I have since found out that they are completely addictive and have got a lot of Hoyas now. But Hoya callus defiler, I think when I first saw it, again, that vein pattern that it's got, it looks really kind of, I was going to say supernatural. I don't know if that is kind of the right way to put it. I feel like it's something that you would see in a movie in a magical land or something like that. And I just can't, yeah, I can't get over it. I think it's absolutely beautiful. And the thing that I really love about Hoyas is because they're so waxy, they often don't look like real plants or don't feel like real plants, and they're so hardy. They tend to be really easy to look after, and I'm just, yeah, I'm slightly obsessed with them at the moment. So that is one that I'm adoring. I think it is stunning. And then I'm going to try and pronounce the name of this next one correctly. I think it's Sarahcestus mirabilis. It's one that I don't actually know how to pronounce, but that's how I read it. And it's, I mean, I'm pretty certain it's obviously an AROID, and I just think the dark veins on this plant just make it look alien-y and otherworldly and absolutely amazing. I think that's what I meant before when I said supernatural. It looks completely out of this world, and it's got a very similar form to Syngonium, and I think, well, I guess it's a vining plant. I've actually only ever seen a few pictures of it, and it does tend to be just like one leaf or something like that. But yeah, I'm really just wowed by this plant. I love the colour of it. I love how it kind of looks like it would have quite a nice texture to it. Like a lot of the time, I know I just compared it to Syngonium, but Syngonium leaves tend to be quite flat and you kind of run your hands over them and you can't really feel anything. I feel like this would be a little bit kind of like, I don't know, again, dragon scaly or something like that. It looks like more of a robust leaf than Syngonium leaves. But it's another one that I had in my basket on, I think this is Grow Tropicals as well, on their website. And I didn't order and now it's out of stock. So maybe I've missed my chance with that one for the time being. I would like to think that maybe at some point I will be able to add all of these plants to my collection. I know it will have to be a gradual thing, and I also know because every time I see a plant that I'm like, oh wow, that's amazing, it will go on my little phone wish list. I'm sure there'll be other plants that overtake these ones in terms of how much I actually want them, but for now, this is one that I would be so happy to own. I think it would, again, I mean, all of these ones would bring me joy. I know I'm saying I think this is one that would bring me joy. All of these ones are plants that I think would make me incredibly happy and feel very lucky to have. So yes. And then, so the reason that this next one, this is an Alocasia Jaclyn Red Secret. The reason that this one is back on my wish list is because my one didn't make it. And I'm really sad about that. So I got that plant at the plant swap again, and it's one that I'd wanted for ages. And I thought it was amazing. I was so happy with how it was growing, and the bottom bit of it just started to rot about 2 weeks ago, and I was like, oh goodness, oh no. And I took it out of soil, and as I was taking it out, I realized that literally it was just complete and utter mush. The root system looked absolutely fine, but it was just kind of like, I don't know, just the little bottom bit of the stem that had started rotting, and it didn't have any nodes on it or anything like that. I did stick it in moss for about a week just to see if it would maybe do anything. I know it was very unlikely, but it didn't. And so, yeah, I had to give up with that plant and throw it away, and I'm so sad. So yeah, this is one that is very high up back on my wish list. I absolutely loved it in the time that I had it. I just think its colour is amazing, and I love how it's kind of got abs, like those beautiful indented veins that just kind of make it, I don't know, they make it look beefy and again really alien and cool. And I know I said that I'm usually just a green plant person, but there's something about this one that it's not green. It's almost like, again, iridescent. It's almost like purple meets green, if that makes any sense at all. I know it's called Red Secret, so I don't know, I'm slightly colorblind. Maybe that is actually red. But yeah, I think it's the most incredible plant. I love Alocasia anyway, and this is one that I feel like I must have again fairly soon. And they're also not ridiculously expensive to buy anymore. So I think this is one that I will be ordering at some point soon. But the next one, again, is one that I've wanted for a very long time. This is an Antherium luxurians, and I love anthuriums. I love how they grow. I have already spoken in this video about my love for velvet leaf anthuriums, but this one, it looks a lot more rubbery and kind of hardy, almost like my Veitchii, which again, rest in peace Veitchii. That is another one that's on my wish list again to rebuy, but I don't think I included in this video on this list, I don't think. But yeah, the Antherium luxurians, I know I've said a few plants are dragon scaly, but this one, I mean, it's just incredible. Like, it's so shiny and defined, and I really am slightly in love with this plant. And again, I think at some point I will probably add it to my collection. I know I've said that about a few, and realistically I can't afford to buy all of these plants because they are not cheap. I was going to say a lot of the plants on my wish list as well are quite common ones, and I think I've got a couple of more common ones in here, but if I was kind of just taking the price tag away and looking at the plants I've got on there and what I want the most right now, these are them. So I know there's quite a lot of rare ones that probably aren't that attainable to a lot of people, and also to me. So yeah, it's one that I am ogling over and hope to get at some point. And this one, so this is one that was not on my wish list until literally the other day. I was finding photos for this video, and I was on the GREENSPACES.ID website, and I saw this plant and I was like, whoa, it really grabbed me. And I was like, I think that might have just gone to the top of my wish list. It is a Cadsura borninensis. I'll put the names on the screen. But again, I know it's quite similar to some of the other ones that I've included in this video because it's got that dark veination, that beautiful kind of bluey splashes on its leaves. And I think that's kind of like, I know when people talk about partners, they'll be like, oh, that guy or girl is your type. I think this plant is my type. I think this is probably what my go-to plant kind of looks like. And I saw this one and I was just like, I feel like I need to have it. It's almost kind of, I know it hasn't got the same leaf shape, but it's almost got begonia vibes. And I'm actually not particularly a begonia person. I've only got one in my collection because they don't usually grab me very much. But yeah, do you know what I mean? It's kind of got begonia vibes. I think it's really pretty. I think it looks like a plant with character. I know that might sound absolutely ridiculous, but it looks like a plant with a bit of personality. It's definitely my type. But yeah, so that's one that I also, as of the other day, now really want. Thank you, GREENSPACES.ID. And then the next one, so this is a more common one, and it's one that I don't have in my collection and I've wanted for ages. And to be honest, I don't really know why I've never got it. It's a cast iron plant. And back in the days when I was doing my shop, I did used to stock this plant quite regularly. I know it's really, really popular. And I have no idea why I didn't keep one back for myself, because I used to do that a lot. I used to see plants in an order that I'd gotten and be like, oh, right, well, I'll do my shopping, and I'd take loads out for myself, which I know isn't good, but this is why I should not be allowed to run a plant shop. But yeah, I think the cast iron plant, Firstly, it's such an easy to care for plant. It is really robust. It's really good in low light conditions. And I feel like it's just one that I don't know, it's got a beautiful, beautiful jungly vibe about it. I think I'm probably thinking more aesthetic. I mean, like, and I know that sounds silly to say because all of my plants are aesthetic as well as bringing me joy in caring for and stuff like that, if that made any sense at all. But I feel like with this one, because it is such an easy to care for plant and I probably wouldn't have to do a lot to it, I'm pretty sure they're also quite slow growing. I don't know, I feel like it'd be quite nice to add one to my collection that is quite easy, because I've got some very high maintenance plants, and although I adore plant care and although it's part of the reason why I've got so many, because I really love constantly doing things to plants, it does very good things for me and for my mental health. It would be quite nice to get one as well that I can just look at and be like, you're pretty, I don't have to do a lot to you. So yeah, I am hoping to get that one at some point very soon. Also, oh my goodness, and I should have probably put this on the wish list as well, but they do make, there does exist variegated cast iron plants as well. And again, my friend Emma, who I seem to speak about in all of my videos nowadays, she got one fairly recently, inherited one from someone, and it's so beautiful. So yeah, maybe this and the variegated version would be nice to have at some point. And this next one's one that I have spoken about in videos before because it's been on my wish list for a very long time. It's the Philodendron Parasitis verde, and I have seen this plant before and I've come very close to buying it. The only thing that stopped me has been the price tag, because they are very expensive plants even to this day. They have kind of been circulating the plant community for a while, but they're still not cheap, and they're not the sort of thing that you would just stumble across at a local garden centre. I think the only time I've actually seen them in person has been when I've gone to rare plant shops and stuff like that. But again, the colour of those leaves, it's not bluey green, it's almost like a lime green. And I just love the kind of speckled flecked variegation with all the different shades of green. I think it's just so incredibly beautiful and very different to any philodendron, or any plant actually, but any philodendron in my collection. I definitely don't own anything like this, and I know as well it has the potential to get absolutely huge. I was scrolling through Instagram pictures looking at plants a few weeks ago because I'm really cool, and I saw someone had this plant and it was ginormous, its leaves, and I saved that photo and I think I must have stared at it for like, I don't know, half an hour because I was like, oh my god, I need this plant in my life. So yeah, that one's up there as well. All of these are up there, but yeah, that one is one that I would really like. I'd really like that plant. And this is another one that I have owned before. It's an Antherium moroccoianum, and oh my goodness, I was so happy when I got this plant. I'd wanted it for ages, and I finally got it. I think probably about, my prediction of time is always so awful, I would say between 6 and 9 months ago I got this plant, and I found it really cheaply on Etsy at the time, and the seller that I bought it off had a mixture of really good and really bad reviews, and because the price it was on there for was so good, I took the risk, and I shouldn't have done. It came with lots and lots of issues, and despite trying lots of things, I couldn't save it. But the thing that I love about the moroccoianum is obviously it's again another really dramatic plant. It's got those beautiful white veins on the really dark leaves, but I love the length of the leaves. I love long leaves, and I don't actually have many plants in my collection that have got that. I think it's just so unusual, and I love the kind of plants that, I mean, obviously most of my tropical plants you wouldn't just bump into on a dog walk or anything like that, but I love the ones that are just so unusual looking and you're like, wow, I'd only see this at like Kew Gardens or Rare Plant Exhibition or something like that. And yeah, I think it's just the most beautiful plant. I don't think it's actually that difficult to care for compared to some of my other houseplants, but as I say, I was just really unlucky with the one that I got, and it is definitely a lesson learned. Nowadays, if I'm gonna invest in a rare plant, I will definitely go to a reputable seller or swap with someone trusted. But yeah, that was very sad, and I was so sad to have to eventually, after so much trying, throw that one away. But the next one is one that House of KOJO currently have in stock, and it is sat in my basket, and I've loved it for a very long time. It's the Alocasia Jaclyn, and I love Alocasia. I've already said that in this video, but again, those almost luminous green leaves with that really dark vein pattern are just, They're so, so, so beautiful. And I love how the shape of its leaves, this is a weird one, but it almost reminds me of oak tree leaves. Do you know what I mean? Like how they're just kind of, I don't know, all wavy and oaky, but at the same time really tropical and gorgeous. So yeah, this is a plant that I've wanted for, I would say, how long has this been on my wish list? A good few months. I know they've been kind of floating around for a while and I've seen lots of them on social media and stuff like that, but it only made it onto my wish list a few months ago, and since then I have kind of searched for a lot of places that are selling it, and as I say, I saw House of KOJO had it in stock, put it in my basket along with a lot of other things, and it's still there, I think. So yeah, maybe I'll do it at some point. And then this one is one, again, with really unusual shaped leaves. This is the Philodendron Florida Beauty, and I love the Florida Ghost, but the Florida Beauty is just, I mean, it's got kind of more stretched and speckled variegation as opposed to blocky variegation, or at least from what I've seen from the ones that I've looked at. And I think it's just amazing. Its shape of the leaves is just like nothing I've ever seen before. It's got similarities to the Code 696 and the Scormiferum, but it's just, I don't know, it's just incredible. I really, really have fallen in love with this plant, and I love the standard Florida as well, the Florida Green, and that's actually one that I don't have in my collection. Again, maybe I should have put that on my wish list, but this is the one that's really grabbing me. This is the one that's doing things for me. So yeah, I think this one is still really quite expensive to buy. So again, probably not the most attainable plant at the moment, but it's staying on my wish list, and those days in the future where I'm mega rich, it will definitely be ordered and in my collection. And then this one's another Scintaxis that I stumbled across on the AROID market website when I was just kind of browsing, as you do, but it's a Scintaxis Moonlight variegated. A variegated Scintaxis Moonlight, that's just how they've typed it out. And as I said earlier, I love the form of Scintaxis. I love how it grows as a plant. I am slightly obsessed with that. I love my Scintaxis collection and I love how it's kind of building at the moment. But this one, firstly, I've never seen one with such dark leaves, but also that variegation is just absolutely insane. Like, look at those little flecks and speckles of variegation, along with the kind of big, chunky block white variegation. I think it's gorgeous. It's very similarly variegated by the looks of this picture to my Syngonium albo, and I really enjoy that plant. I love how it's got a lovely balance most of the time of variegation, and I feel like this one would be similar. I don't know. If anyone's got this plant, then let me know, but yeah, I want it. And the penultimate plant is the Hoya Clemenciarum Red, and I really love this Hoya. Again, I know I've said that I'm not particularly usually a fan of plants that aren't green or kind of like have a greeny base. And I know the picture of this plant actually looks quite different. If you Google this plant, it's bright red, and this one here almost looks kind of rainbowy. I mean, I doubt it stays like that unless this is a mislabeled version of that plant. But yeah, that's really interesting actually. If anybody knows, again, drop me a comment. But I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. I just kind of assumed that this faded into the dark red colour, but maybe the picture I'm using isn't correct. It's only because I contacted the shops and asked if I could use their pictures. I'm gonna stick with this, but yeah, this is an AROID market one, so maybe I will drop them a message and see what they say. But yeah, as I say, I love its form. I love the veination. I love it when it turns that really beautiful dark red. It's almost like a burgundy. It's not kind of like bam in your face. It's quite subtle, and it's very different to anything else that I've got in my collection. I have got some fairly unusual Hoyas in my collection now. I've got my Macrophylla Red, Sarawak, and Undulata. I'd say those are the three that are a bit like, ooh, that's different. But this one, I don't know, this one really grabbed me, and I feel like it's one that maybe a few years ago wouldn't have done, and not just because I wasn't really into Hoyas at that point. I think just looking at it, I know my tastes have changed over the years, and now I'm just like, oh yeah, I really need that plant. So yeah. And then the final one on my wish list is one that I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce. It is an Antherium Nigralaminum. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. But again, this plant, I feel like kind of ticks all the boxes. It's got a tinge of that kind of bluey, minty colour to it, but it's still beautiful and green. It's got the really long leaves, which I really love. It looks so shiny and robust. And again, I'm going to use it again, dragon scaly. I think it just looks gorgeous. And also the lobe spacing, it's got those nicely spaced lobes that I don't know why I love so much, but I apparently just do. So yeah, this is one that I am actually really tempted to order. I can't remember exactly how much it was. I just put a load of stuff in my basket. ECUAGENERA, the company that I'm using the photos for this, they're the only one of the ones in the photo that I haven't ordered from before, but I'm looking to place an order with them at some point when I'm out of my plant ban soon, because I hear they are absolutely brilliant. I know so many people that have had amazing experiences using this company, and they're actually going to be at a rare plant festival I'm going to in a few weeks' time. So if they have this plant then, maybe I'll get it. I don't know. As I say, I need to work out finances, but I think this plant is just beautiful. It's very different to any of my other Anthuriums, and I don't know, I guess kind of just like, maybe for some of you it wouldn't be that amazing, but with my wishlist plants, I get like a gut feeling when I see them and I'm like, yeah, I need that plant. And some plants that I know are kind of traditionally beautiful or really unusual, I'll look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, it's nice, but it doesn't grab me in the same way. But this one really does. So yeah, that is my top 20. As I say, I've got loads of others that I could have included in this video, but I mean, to be completely honest, I could have sat here all afternoon and chatted through my entire wish list, but that would be a very long video. But I would absolutely love to know what some of your wish list plants are and potentially get inspired, add some more to my list. But drop me a comment down below and let me know your top, I was gonna say 3. I know it's difficult to stick to a number. This was originally going to be a top 10 video, but I couldn't do it. Let me know your top 5 wish list plants, and yeah, I would really love to see them. But yes, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. It probably wasn't useful at all. It was just me yabbering on about the plants that I really like. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.